what is your health worth? I mean, truly, what is your health worth? I mean, you can't put a price tag on that. You've heard me say before, he or she who has their health has 1,000 dreams. He or she who does not has one. When you don't have your health, you'll do anything to get it back. A warning in advance. This is my story. And I'm not telling you to do everything or anything that I'm doing, will do, or have done in the past. I do want you to follow doctor's orders. I want you to check your research, and then I want you to make the decision that's best for you. Some of these decisions that you may make on your own healing, recovery, will cost no money. Some of them will cost the price of what you pay for supplements now, and a few of them that I'll share, some of the hacks that I'm really using, are going to cost a little bit of money, some investment, and I'll talk about that as well. But I want you to make the decision that's best for you, and I'm sharing and getting personal with you today because my hope and intention is I can help you if you're in a similar boat where you're feeling pain, you're not sleeping at night, it's affecting your mindset or your health set, your soul set, whatever it may be, that it helps you, because after all, what is your health worth? I mean, truly, what is your health worth? Welcome back to another episode of the Todd Durkin Impact Show. Yes, this is Todd Durkin, and I am in the house today. I'm in studio. 10 days after surgery, here I am, and I am so fired up to share with you today. Well, frankly, to get a little personal with you today, I hope you're out running or walking or working out and you're smiling saying, man, oh man, do I feel great today, and your health is vibrant and your energy is off the hook. Because my friend, as we share today and I go deep into this process, you are going to get a boatload of content and information on, one, how to stay healthy and well, and two, if you even happen to face a surgery someday, some things that you can possibly do that I'm doing right now as I speak here with you on the podcast. Thank you for listening in. I want to say thank you for all your feedback post-surgery. I got knee surgery on August 2nd, and here I am just literally 10 days after as I record it. By the point that you listen to this, will be a few weeks out after surgery. And the amount of DMs and texts and emails that I got, it was overwhelming in a great positive way, in a healing way. And I put an email out. On the 10th of every month, I put an email out, and I asked you if you would like for me to share my routine. I must have had hundreds of emails saying, yes, Todd, please share your routine. It was that which prompted me today to get my booty in the chair. I call it butt glue, to get some butt glue, bring all my supplements out here that I've been doing. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see them. If you're listening in, you can listen in. And in the show notes today, you'll check it out. I'll have my team and I will put all of the different things I'm doing in the show notes as well, if you want to get more specific as well. So again, thank you on that. So I had this knee cleanup October 2nd. And when I say knee cleanup, I'm going to talk in depth about what does a knee cleanup actually consist of. And the last year and a half has been pretty interesting with pain in my knee and everything that's gone on. And I'm very, very grateful that I had it done, and I'm on the other side right now. You're probably going to want to come back to this at this episode at some point. So you may want to save it, bookmark it, save it. Or if you know someone who's in pain, whether it be back pain, knee pain, shoulder pain, any other kind of pain, send this to them, share this with them, because I think there's going to be some content in here that they may want to hear or that you have to come back to at some point as well. Now, what I share today also is going to be based on 25 years of experience as a coach, as a trainer, now and having my third surgery. I had no surgery up until age 48. In the last 3 years, I've had 3. So I've had multiple surgeries now, and this is my research. And in all the people I've worked with and helped rehab and overcome, from the highest athletes in the world to moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas and kids, this is what I am doing. And I want to make sure that you know this. A warning in advance. This is my story. And I'm not telling you to do everything or anything that I'm doing, will do, or have done in the past. I do want you to follow doctor's orders. I want you to check your research, and then I want you to make the decision that's best for you. Some of these decisions that you may make on your own healing, recovery, will cost no money. Some of them will cost the price of what you pay for supplements now, and a few of them that I'll share, some of the hacks that I'm really using are going to cost a little bit of money, some investment, and I'll talk about that as well. But I want you to make the decision that's best for you, and I'm sharing and getting personal with you today because my hope and intention is I can help you if you're in a similar boat where you're feeling pain, you're not sleeping at night, it's affecting your mindset or your health set, your soul set, whatever it may be, that it helps you, because after all, what is your health worth? I mean, truly, what is your health worth? I mean, you can't put a price tag on that. You've heard me say before, he or she who has their health has 1,000 dreams. He or she who does not has one. When you don't have your health, you'll do anything to get it back. You'll do anything to get it back. And that's part of my story. And it's part of why I'm going to share the boatload of information I'm going to share. So let me dive into it here. And what happened. So I have had 2 knee replacements. I had my right knee replaced in 2018, and man, oh man, is that thing good. And then in 2020, in December 2020, I had my left knee partially replaced. So a partial on my right, a partial on my left. Partial meaning not a full knee replacement, but one where they do the medial compartment and the patella and not the lateral compartment. But this is what happened. Now think about this. December 2020, we're in the middle of the pandemic. My knee's been hurting. My wife Melanie says, man, you're bone on bone. You're in pain. Get the knee done. Dr. Jankowicz says it's time to get it done. And then you'll go flying into 2021 with new life. I'm like, absolutely, let's roll. So I did that December 2020. And in the middle of my rehabilitation, about 6 weeks after my left knee was being rehabbed, one day my back starts hurting. I'm like, why is my back killing me? I just had my knee replaced. What's up with my back killing me? I asked my PT Martin. He's become infamous at this point, but PT Martin, I'm like, hey, Martin, can you work on my back today? He's like, your back? What's up with your back? I'm like, I don't know. It's been hurting me. Well, for the next couple days and weeks, it got worse and worse and worse until finally they got an x-ray on that. On February 17th, 2021, which also happened to be my 20th wedding anniversary, on that same day, I get an x-ray on my back. And all of a sudden, as I'm getting an x-ray on my back, I hear the x-ray tech behind the screen. You know, when you get an x-ray, you stand there and the x-ray tech, you go back there. I hear the x-ray tech say, what the bleep? I just bleeped it for you because what I heard was, is everything okay back there? He said, yeah. And I knew by the tone of his voice, it wasn't okay. So me being me, I get my phone, I run over there and I take a snapshot of the x-ray. And it was not good. And I knew I had a problem. And guys, I've shared this story before, but most of 2021 was spent in back pain, like to the point where I had major back issues, had to see a back specialist, and I thought I was ready to get a fusion of my entire lower back. And as you know, no one wants surgery, big or small. But when it comes to back surgery, that scares me. And when it comes to a full fusion of your lower back, I'm like, that really scared me, got in my own dome on that. So I was in a lot of pain. And while in that cycle for the last year and a half of dealing with my back of 2021, I wasn't able to rehab my knee or do what I wanted to do on my knee because there were days where I couldn't even get out of the bed and go for a walk around the block. I was in pain. And in the process of the last year and a half, scar tissue built up and a bone spur occurred in my knee. So the back and the knee relationship, in really putting all my attention to 2021, where my height of my pain was in my back, my knee was getting worse and worse. The range of motion was decreasing. And by the grace of God, literally by the grace of God, in August 2021, through my own interventions for my back, I got out of acute pain and fortunately was able to stave off back surgery. And I'm so thankful for that. At some point, that might be a future episode, like episode number 999 on the podcast here, hopefully. But basically I did not have back surgery, but I had to start tending to my knee again. And I've done everything: physical therapy, scraping, stretching, exercise therapy, correctives, you name it, I did it. But it eventually led me to the cleanup here in 2022, where Dr. Jankowicz said, hey, listen, you've got a bone spur, you've got a lot of scar tissue. Let's go in there and clean it up. And the reason why I got surgery was, number one, I was in a lot of pain. And when you're knee pain, it stinks. You can't train or do what you want. Heck, forget train. The lifestyle I wanted to live, I couldn't even go out and go for a hike the way I wanted to. So number two was my lifestyle was majorly affected, and got to the point where like basic movements hurt. When I say basic movements, like when you're lying in bed and you want to straighten your leg just to straighten it out because of the scar tissue and the bone spurs. When you hear like the crepitus in there, the creaking in there, you're like, okay, this isn't good. And when it starts to affect your sleep, when pain starts to affect your sleep, you know that it's time that you have to intervene a little more aggressively. And frankly, number three, I just want to get my health back. I want to get my knees back because, hey, I knew I had an underlying back issue, but what was going on and what I discovered in the last year and a half was when we took out 9 degrees of curvature in my knees to get rid of my bow-leggedness, because all you who make fun of me for being bow-legged and walking like I just got off a horse, Doc corrected that and straightened me out. But in doing so, what we didn't realize that I had a 32-degree curvature of my spine. So the excessive biomechanical stress on my spine caused my back to hurt. And I think it took about 9 months or so to really find an equilibrium and a homeostasis per se of the back to stop hurting, along with some of the other interventions, some of which I will share today that I've been doing for my knee. So that's why I got surgery. So check this out. Surgery day, August 2nd. Again, as I record this just 10 days ago, right before surgery, doc's like, this is going to be quick. It's arthroscopic surgery. You go in, we'll get the bone spur out. We'll remove the scar tissue. And, within 2 weeks, you're back to your regular lifestyle. He did say this, though. If it's any bigger than I think, I may have to open you back up and really, get out what needs to get out. I'm like, Doc, whatever needs to get done, let's get it done. Well, sure enough, after the 45-minute or so surgery, and I came out of the recovery room, indeed that the bone spur was deeper and bigger than he anticipated, and he got it all out, hopefully, and all the scar tissue, and I'm in the middle of healing. But in my mind, here's where I was at. Okay, they had to open me up, so I've got this 2 or 3 inch opening scar that I'm going to visualize and meditate that it's going to heal rapidly over the next week. And I did that. And I really focused on the healing of that. And I'm going to consider this phase 1, okay? So I have 3 phases today of healing, 3 phases, and this is phase 1. Typically after a surgery, I look at it at the 2-week mark, the 6-week mark, and the 12-week mark. There's something magical about those time frames. Now, 3 surgeries later, 2 knee replacements and this little cleanup per se. The 2-week mark, you turn a corner. The 6-week mark, you turn a major corner. And the 12-week mark, man, you're typically feeling like you again after a major surgery. But in my mind, this is a minor type surgery. So know this, whenever you get cut, arthroscopically, small or big, whenever there's a major trauma and there's a surgery, knowing even from my bodywork days back in the day, that when you cut on fascia, right? You cut on fascia, there's going to be some scar tissue that is going to form. You got elastin and collagen in your skin and in your tissue, and there's going to be some form of a intervention that needs to happen. And I knew I needed to get my mind right and my body right on this. And the physical side of things, there's so much healing is physiological, right? The physiological side of healing. So here's what I did right after surgery, which was at 7:30 in the morning. I left the hospital at 11:30 a.m. and by 12:30 I was home. I was home by 12:30, and the first thing I did was I got home and I had a greens drink, literally a greens drink. I put that down as number 1, and again, if you check the show notes, I'll share with you what I have used. I'm not married to all of these brands, but I did my research on that, and the greens drink I was doing twice a day. And still am right now, twice a day, morning and evening, to make sure that I can really fortify healing. Now, when I'm looking, this one's the one I'm holding here, the one I'm using is Vibrant Health Greens Vibrance, 25 billion probiotics. Think about greens. Now, I would mix it with either apple juice or orange juice, or sometimes even just water. My kids would be like, Dad, you're like drinking grass. I'm like, I don't care. Whatever's going to help with healing, I'm going to use. So I would definitely put that on the list as well. The greens drink is a big one. Now, mind you, before I just skip to all my supplements, know this: hydration is imperative. 3/4 of your body weight, not half. I'm always like half your body weight. In healing times, especially phase 1, the first 2 weeks, 3/4 your body weight in fluid ounces of water. Sleep is going to be imperative as best you can. And I was able to kick painkillers within 24 hours, which was amazing for me. I thought I'd be on them for a week or so. 0 alcohol. No alcohol. When it comes to healing, alcohol is only going to have a negative effect on healing, and you want to reduce sugar and carbs during major healing times. So you almost like going to go on like a keto type diet, a lot of protein, a lot of green. So I was eating a lot of protein and a lot of green leafy vegetables, probably best. So the Greens Vibrance, huge. Next, let me talk supplements. Here's what I'm doing now. I'm still considering myself in phase 1 of healing. So the morning time, I'd have a bunch of different supplements. First one, Tumeric. Those who use Tumeric, is really, really important for anti-inflammatory properties. This one is enhanced with black pepper, and black pepper is in a few of my different supplements, but turmeric here, use that. I have the extra strength 1,000 milligrams of that. Do what's on the label for there. Of course, in the morning time, as always, collagen protein. I just said when you cut on someone, your elastin, your collagen is affected. So my friends over at Bubs, the best collagen on the planet, literally double dosing. You ever feel like, oh yeah, double dosing the collagen? So double doses the collagen protein powder and the MCT oil. My lovely bride Melanie was hooking me up with some good coffee with collagen protein, the MCT oil, and also, of course, the apple cider vinegar gummies from Bubs, which also has vitamin B6 in it, has vitamin B12 in it, and pomegranate juice powder and beet juice powder. Beet juice powder, a lot of healing properties as well in those gummies right there. Along with that, Carlson's cod liver oil. Something I've been using for a while, but I've been sporadic with it. I've been using that twice a day, the Carlson's cod liver oil. And a couple of my secrets, so to speak. I have only used these primarily in major healing times. I've been thinking about lately, like, why don't I use this all the time? I should use this not just when I'm healing, but I've consulted with different nutritionists prior to the surgery, especially before 2018 and then 2020 and then this one. 2 different Metagenics products. One is the Inflavonoid Intensive Care by Metagenics, and I have no ties to Metagenics at all. Highly bioavailable curcumin and xanthohumol and boswellia and ginger. Ginger is very, very good as well. This product right here has been one I've used extensively during major healing times after injury or surgery. And I don't know what it is, but this one has been awesome, along with my second Metagenics product. It's called SPM Active. SPM Active on this. And these 2 products from Metagenics came highly recommended by a nutritionist friend of mine, and definitely going to help the body with cellular and immune response, cellular regeneration and immune response on that. So I'll put those all in the show notes as well. But breakfast is pretty much a greens drink and some all bran with fruit. McKenna was like, Dad, it was like you're eating rabbit food. I don't care, honey. Greens, drinks, and rabbit food. All brand with bananas and blueberries. Blueberries filled with antioxidants with the immune response. Of course, we want to make sure anytime there's a trauma to the system, surgery, we want to boost that. So that was the morning routine per se. And as well as in the evening, I would do bone broth. Yeah, bone broth. You're like, all you who email me like, bone broth. You saw a picture that I posted on my Instagram, like bone broth. Yep, I love doing this at night as a drink. I would literally just boil the bone broth, and it's so good. And the bone marrow in the bone broth is so tremendously healthy. And when it comes to healing, bone broth is a huge aspect. You can get this at, Whole Foods, Boney's, your local health food market. On that, so bone broth in the evening, along with ZMA. And what is ZMA? Zinc, magnesium, vitamin A, and this one has black pepper in it as well. The one I've been using is from Gym Brand, the ZMA for recovery, strength, and immune system response. ZMA, zinc, magnesium, vitamin A, and black pepper. Again, a lot of information here, but in the evening, in order to sleep, I was doing the bone broth and the ZMA as well. Now, perhaps my first biohack I'm going to share with you, because those are all supplements. BP 157 peptide. BP 157 peptide. You're like, oh, your ears just perked up. What's that? I told you I'm going to reveal and share everything with you. Now, I'm doing peptides. And when you're like, what's a peptide? Well, by definition, peptides, short chains of amino acids that act as building blocks, right, of proteins such as collagen, elastin, keratin, are all part of peptides, and they're used to optimize, right, the production and secretion of growth hormone, which rapidly declines as we age. After age 30, growth hormone goes beep, 40s, 50s, and 60s, huge decrement in GH. So peptides, depending on the type of peptide that you take, if you choose to do so, is one that you can really help with recovery. This BP 157 is one I also started using in August of 2021, which I can't equate it to just this, but it was also that which is when my back started getting out of pain as well. I don't have ties to any one specific BP 157 peptide, but I can tell you this, when you do the research on it and it talks about alleviating joint pain, improving joint stability, boosting recovery from injuries. Why? Because it helps vascular flow to tendons and ligaments, which are typically avascular, don't get a lot of blood. And blood is when you get a lot of blood to an area, especially red blood cells, you get red blood cells, all of a sudden now you have a lot of cellular regeneration going on, which is really good. And the biggest aspect here of stimulating growth hormone is great for cellular regeneration and wound healing. So growth hormone, again, whether you're in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, it might be something you want to augment. The best way to naturally stimulate growth hormone is high intensity exercise. So let's not get confused. I'm just going to start taking BP 157 peptide. High intensity exercise. So start moving and shaking right now if you're working out and you're lifting some weights. Good. Keep going. Pick up the intensity. That's the best way. But after surgery, you can't. Or if you're in back pain, you can't always get the high intensity exercise that you want and need to stimulate your growth hormone, right? So this is kind of a way that you can, I don't say work around, but you can literally stimulate growth hormone in your body, and it basically going to stimulate to your brain to release the growth hormone in your body. So mark that as number one. I've got like 5 different biohacks I think I'll share today. BP 157 is one that is a little secret that I'm sharing. Again, you don't need to use it. I'm not telling you to use it. This is what my team that I've been working with highly recommended, and I've been using it on and off with the back. And now, of course, healing phase 1 and 2, I'll be using the BP 157 as well. And these are just capsules. You can also get injectables. I don't like that. I'm using capsules. But anyway, so that's the supplement side of things. And then the peptides. Peptides, again, look into it. Whether you work with a naturopathic doctor, an MD, certainly check into peptides as well. Next, modalities. What modalities? This is biohack number 2. Game Ready machine. The Game Ready is a lifesaver. I am not endorsed by Game Ready. Game Ready, I love you. Thank you. Because in 3 surgeries now, I don't know what I would do without my Game Ready. You're like, TD, what the heck's the Game Ready? Well, the Game Ready is like an ice machine. It's almost like a Normatec machine that actually, it flows ice through the compression. So the Game Ready, now the latest version, which I do have, the latest version, you can do these different programs, on 15 minutes or 20 minutes and then off for 5 minutes. You can do like almost like a Russian stem, but cold water. I have a sleeve on my knee, of a knee sleeve. It goes from feet all the way up to hip. So imagine the whole sleeve is up your leg, and it's pumping from your foot all the way through your hip. So it's creating this circulation of cold water while compressing and squeezing. And let me tell you what, I love it. I slept in it the first couple nights, not the whole time you're using it, because you can program it how long you want it on and off for as well. You'll hear RICE, right? Rest, ice, compression, elevation. Well, Game Ready is next generation type stuff. And I just saw, and they did not do this before, that you can actually rent Game Readies. Good job, Game Ready, because not everyone is going to be able to afford a Game Ready machine. But I'm telling you right now, if you have a lower extremity injury or surgery or shoulder. My son Brady, we were using the Game Ready for his shoulder injury surgery, which he had in the springtime. Nothing replaces the Game Ready. It's awesome. And now they are renting Game Readies. If you just go, I think it's GameReady.com, GameReady.com. They now rent Game Readies. I can't imagine doing a surgery of a lower extremity or shoulder and not using the Game Ready, right? Next up, I'm not considering this a biohack, but just some cream with arnica, MSM, and more turmeric. So this is hemp cream. It's got arnica, MSM, and turmeric. And I know y'all like, what do you think about CBD? I'm not using CBD in this recovery. I've tried CBD oil when my back was out, and I've tried CBD lotion. I tried everything for my back. And I don't know, maybe my back was just so bad nothing worked. I know a lot of you swear by CBD oil. I'm not using the lotion, the oil, but I am using this cream, arnica, MSM, turmeric on there as well. Boom. So a little supplement for you on the cream side. And before we move into phase 2, phase 1, exercise. In phase 1, the first 2 weeks, phase 1, first 2 weeks, exercise. For me, with knee, ankle pumps, quad sets where you squeeze and fire your VMO, right? Your vastus medialis oblique, right? So you're getting that teardrop to try to start contracting and squeezing again so it can track the knee. So ankle pumps, quad sets, all important. And I was in the home gym 5 days after the surgery just to get an upper body workout because my mind was going crazy. Mel's like, what are you doing? I was on my crutches still. I thought I was going to go off my crutches within 3 days, but because he had to open me up and all of that good stuff. Now, here's the thing. Biohack number 3. I was using BFR bands. BFR bands. What's BFR bands? Blood flow restriction bands. I'm actually going to talk more about them in the next phase, phase 2, blood flow restriction. But this is essentially a cheat code, a secret that I've known about for years and used with my athletes in training. It used to be used primarily in the rehab setting. Now it's being used more in the fitness performance setting. And I'm using it now is part of my rehab. And again, right now, as I speak, I'm only 10 days out after surgery, but I started using this right away with the BFR bands as well. But phase 1, to wrap this up, I'll talk about BFR here in a moment. Other things, healing. Guys, I do want to accentuate this. Healing's a beautiful thing. And I don't want to call it surgery, like almost like a euphoria, but after surgery, there was such a sense of relief and almost euphoria about anything is possible. And don't worry, it wasn't the drugs that were doing it to me, but just the gratitude that I felt for the doctors and the nurses and the fact that I'm on the other side of surgery, that I'm on healing. So I wanted to put my mindset right away in a place of optimizing maximal healing. What did that mean? And this is hard, but I'm going to share it with you. Things that I was doing: no TV, no scrolling the phone, and getting rid of any toxicity. So the first several days, I was like in front of the TV, and there's nothing good on the day, during the day on TV. I'm sorry, but there's not. Until like, the games start coming on later on, there's not a lot on TV that's good. And you can start watching, next thing you know, you're watching like Jerry Springer type stuff. Not good. So be careful of the phone, all the scrolling, you're just looking at everything. In order to optimize healing, I was listening to podcasts, I was reading a lot. I was journaling, writing down all my thoughts, and praying a lot. Prayer has been a even bigger part of healing than any time in my previous surgery. I always have prayed a lot, but I recently said this with journaling. Journaling is putting prayer on paper. Journaling is putting prayer on paper, and it's a beautiful thing. And I want to encourage each of you, whether you're healing or not, is use journaling as a cathartic form of getting your thoughts, your prayers on paper, and you'll be able to look back someday and say, like I did last year, and I like, wow, I didn't realize how bad my back was and how much pain I was in, because it affects everything. It affects your mind, it affects your energy, it affects your ability to pour into people the way you want to. And then reading, I just have been voraciously attacking some great books. Robin Sharma's Everyday Hero, great book, Everyday Hero. Stillness is the Key by Holiday. I love that book, Stillness is the Key. And Arthur Brooks, From Strength to Strength. As a matter of fact, I just reached out to Arthur a couple days ago because I love his book, From Strength to Strength, so much. And I'm hoping to get Arthur here on the podcast coming up because I love where he's at, what he's doing. And he's got some great stuff. So reading is stimulating the mind in a great way. And I think that's part of the healing process as well. These are all things that are good for the mind and good for the soul. And lastly, for phase one, I will want to say this. I'm 10 days out now. And for the first time on 8 days after, I looked at my wound. I took everything off. They said about 7 to 8 days after, take everything off. And for the first time, I looked at my cut. And I told you earlier on in the show here that when I got cut, I've been visualizing my 2 to 3 inch scar literally going away, evaporating. And I was hoping that when I opened up my whole bandage, that it'd be almost gone. It would look really good. I opened it up, and Melanie was in the bathroom when I was doing it. And I had a startled look on my face because Dr. Jankowitz wasn't joking around when he said, I'm going to need to open you up. Podcast listeners, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Hey, quick update. Thank you for the great feedback and the signups already coming in for the Shift Retreat. Now, I have to remind you, we do have limited seats, so don't delay. If you need a little shifting in your life, you want to get your mind right, you want to get your health right, and you want to amp up your results in your business and in your career, you're going to want to sign up ASAP for the Shift Retreat. Oh, by the way, did I mention that there's a very special gala that night, Saturday night? We're going to be dancing. I may even break out my special jersey cardboard and do a little head spinning, a little bit of old school hip hop breakdancing. You're going to want to be at the Shift Retreat. When I talk about igniting your energy, igniting your passion and your purpose from going from empty, lost, maybe even a little bit of tired and burnout, the Shift Retreat is going to help propel you not only through the end of the year, but going strong into 2023 as well. Make sure you take a look and sign up real soon for the Shift Retreat. Hop over to todddurkin.com and sign up today, because after all, shift happens. The 2 to 3 inch scar that I had been visualizing wasn't 2 to 3 inches. It was more like 6 to 8 inches long. It was the size of my knee replacement scar. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened here? I can't believe the whole thing is opened up. Well, in order for him to actually go in there and do his work and do his best work, he needed to open up. It's interesting how much that can play with your mindset. And it took me the whole day to get my mind unrattled of seeing that, because I was visualizing a 2 to 3 inch scar versus a 6 inch scar, whatever it is, on that. So this brings me into where I'm at now. I'm almost off of crutches. I'm hobbling around, but feeling really good. Energy's back. I'm using all of the modalities I just shared, and I don't want to say ahead of schedule, but the athlete mindset is, okay, if they say 2 weeks, I'm going to do it in a week, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about, because if the doc says 3 weeks, you're saying a week and a half. I know, I'm there too. But as I go into phase 2 here, and I'm counting phase 2 officially as weeks 2 through 6. I want you to continue with your nutrition and your supplementation that I just outlined. Maybe the icing with your game ready, not as relevant because swelling should be down by this point. But here's where I'm going to go into the next biohacks, okay? And the next things. The biohacks are kind of like my secrets, the secrets that I'm using. And this is number 4 biohack. Phase 2. You may not, well, I'm just going to tell you this is what I'm doing, and you may not have these things yet, but you might want to get them. Red light therapy. Red light therapy. Have you heard of red light therapy? I have had red light therapy, a Juve wall now for a couple years. I'm intermittent, not fasting, intermittently using it as part of my therapy. I have it in my bedroom, and you're like, what's red light therapy? Well, the company I use, again, not tied to them, Juve wall, Joov. Do your research, Joov. Red light therapy. Great for cellular regeneration, ATP synthesis stimulates mitochondrial growth. What's mitochondria? Go back to your college biology days or your college, anatomy days. What is mitochondria? It's the powerhouse of the cell, right? I never forget that. Professor Canvas and Professor Smitty, the powerhouse of the cell. I always like the mitochondria. Well, this is going to stimulate the powerhouse of the cell, and it's going to have anti-inflammatory effects. So I stand in front of my Juve wall for 10 to 20 minutes. You could sit also 10 to 20 minutes. And I just started that because now I'm standing and I can do that without the crutches. And so fantastic for healing. Now know this, with a Juve wall or a red light therapy wall, it doesn't have to be Juve, it's the one I'm using. You've got red and near infrared light, which is energy for your cells. Now think about, why red light? Because we're surrounded with blue light all the time. Your phones, your computers, TV, blue light is in the universe. Well, red light therapy combats all of the blue light that we take in to our body. So it's great at a cellular regeneration side. Now, you'll be like, well, does it work? I don't know. I can't tell you if it works. I'm doing so much. I just know from my own research that when I invested in the Juve wall a few years ago, based on my first knee surgery, I wanted to do everything I could to amplify my own healing. And the Juve wall has been part of that. So when you do the research and you look into red light therapy, it's pretty fascinating aspect. Now, closely related, I'm not going to count it as a biohack because it's so readily available now, and many of you hopefully use it, is the infrared sauna. I've had infrared saunas at Fitness Quest 10 since 2007. That was a little before its time, but since 2007, we've had infrared saunas in the men's and women's locker room. And the same thing, infrared, like you got the infrared heat wave, we got wavelengths. Well, you've got near infrared, you got mid infrared, and you got far infrared. And far infrared causes vasodilation, which helps expel toxins from your body. This is good for your immune system. It's also good for healing. So I'm just now starting to get into the infrared sauna, 10 days out, but it's going to be a bigger part in the next phase here as I go into it, because I'm still, I still got a wound there. And infrared saunas, use it as part of your healing, even after tough workouts. If you got an infrared sauna, or you have access at your studio or gym to an infrared sauna, or heck, there's recovery facilities popping up all over the country with things like infrared saunas. Visit it 2 or 3 times a week if you've got a membership there, and get into the infrared sauna because it's wonderful in there. You can do breath work, you can meditate, you could pray, you could read, you could just sit there and be silent. Thank you, Ryan Holiday. Be silent without your phone possibly as well. Or every now and then you can take your phone in there also and get some social media stuff done too. If you really want to be productive while doing that, that's your choice. Number 3 is cupping. I have here some of the cups I invest in. They're not expensive. When I blew up my shoulder on Strong, NBC Strong back in the day, I really started using cupping a lot, and I was like, man, I really like this stuff. And I've since invested, again, pretty inexpensive. These cups I have here, they're rubber, and it's by, the company called Rock Tape, Rock Tape. These are basically rock pods. They call them rock pods. And you don't have to get these exact specific ones, but I've been using them and they're wonderful. I've been already using them all around my knee, my quad, my hip, my lower shank, just to help circulation, right? So the rock pods or cupping, and if you don't want to do it yourself, certainly hire someone who does cupping. Could be a physical therapist that you're already using, maybe a massage therapist. Many massage therapists use cupping, chiropractors use cupping, FST, fascial stretch therapists may use cupping. Find a healer who uses cupping. I love it as part of the process in healing in phase 2 and beyond as well. Normatec boots. Have you tried Normatec boots? Again, I mentioned Game Ready. Game Ready is part of my plan, and I love Normatec boots. Hyperice now. You can go to hyperice.com, I believe, to get your Normatec boots. These are compression boots. My athletes swear by them. I swear by them. I've been using them for 5-6 years. I am not using the Normatec boots yet in my own healing because I'm using the Game Ready still, but I'll graduate as I get away from the ice and any of the swelling. When it goes away, I'll start progressing over to the Normatec boots. Here at Fitness Quest 10, we have them. We use them as part of our training, and it's a great way to get compression and that pumping again, which is really, really healing to your body. Massage and a percussive gun. You've heard me talk about massage guns forever, and whether Hyperice has the Hypervolt, Theragun, or any other guns that you choose to use, a percussive gun, a massage therapy gun, is one that you can do on yourself as well. Right now, I'm already using that in my hip flexor, my psoas, all my glutes around the quad. I'm still too sensitive in that area on the lateral quad, where a lot of my bone spur was on my lateral side of the knee, right? My medial and patella was replaced, but the lateral side is where that big bone spur was. But massage is fantastic, which is the 6th one, is massage, bodywork, or manual stretching. Why? Because when you get surgery, you tighten up. Your fascia constricts. And when it constricts, you can have adhesions. So massage and fascial stretch therapy, love FST. Find an FST practitioner in your area. Find a massage therapist who does FST, or a trainer who does FST, fascial stretch therapy, or you can Google fascial stretch therapy. Look for a practitioner in your area. They're all over the world, literally, on that, and wonderfully healing. You don't have to be healing to get FST. You don't have to get massage. You don't have to have massage therapy when you're healing. You want to use it as a preventative measure as well. And then number 7, let me get back to what I was talking about earlier on, BFR bands. This, my friend, when I talk about biohacks, this might be the next big thing, I believe, in the fitness world and fitness performance, not just rehab, because BFR bands have been used for ages in the rehabilitation setting, blood flow restriction. And as you're listening right now, if you're watching YouTube, you'll see what I'm taking out of my little pack here. But I've got 4 different cuffs, okay, BFR cuffs. 2 for the upper body, 2 for the lower body. And what I do with them, just so I can jump right into it and not go too deep into the detail, but I do quad sets, like I talked about the VMO, where when you take these cuffs and you put them around your extremities, your upper extremity of your lower body, so your upper thigh and your upper arm, you can do things like quad sets, straight leg raises, and I'm just doing extension and flexion. But why use BFR and how do you use it? Why use it and how do you use it? Well, why do you use it? Growth hormone. Can I repeat? Growth hormone, without taking growth hormone. So the most natural way, high intensity exercise is going to be great. Why? Because when you use high intensity exercise, lactate is produced. I got lactic acid built up. Guess what, my friends? It's not necessarily a bad thing when lactic acid is produced. It's actually a good thing. Why is that? Well, because I feel like I'm going to get sick. No, the idea of lactic acid isn't so you get sick, but if you overdo it, you can. What happens with lactate, when you have lactate in your system, then you have something that is released called growth hormone. IGF-1 and nitric oxide. So nitric oxide, okay, which is basically, when you look at nitric oxide, is it's like rocket fuel. Some people say, well, isn't BFR, blood flow restriction, like tourniquet training? No, I wouldn't call it tourniquet training, because tourniquet training actually cuts off your blood flow completely with that. And BFR, that's not the intent with BFR. When you put the cuff on the proximal end of your either upper arm or your upper leg, you inflate. Okay, you got a little blood pressure cuff here. You inflate, boom, you can almost hear it. Okay, you inflate it to a pressure high enough so that you can maintain arterial blood flow while restricting venous return. What's arterial? Away from the heart. So you want to maintain blood flow away from the heart, yet constrict enough so that you can't get venous return, getting the blood flow back to the heart. So you're going to have a little bit of blockage, and that is going to stimulate to the brain that, oh, okay, great. You typically use a weight that's less than what you would normally use. So for example, if I would do bicep curls with 50s, okay, 30s, I got you there. 30s. When I'm using the BFR bands, I would use even 15 or 20 pounds, and I would use lightweight and high reps, 15 to 20 reps. Put the weight down at 15 to 20 reps. Take 30 seconds off. Do it again to complete exhaustion and fatigue. And I'm essentially tricking my system into thinking that I just lifted all this heavy weight, but I'm not lifting heavy weight because I can't lift heavy weight right now because my joints can't take it. Or even if you're in your 40s, 50s, or 60s and you can no longer bench press 225 for 12 or 5 or at all, but you want to get the same types of effects, you can do that using BFR. So essentially, when you're doing that, it's signaling to the brain that the muscle is working harder than it really is. But there is a physiological component there, because basically when the lactic acid says, oh man, we've got lactic acid built up, guess what happens? Very good. Growth hormone is going to be released. IGF-1 is released, and nitric oxide, the rocket fuel to the system, is released. Nitric oxide is really, really overlooked to this whole thing. And one other thing, BDNF. BDNF, repeat it to me, BDNF, brain-derived neurotropic factor, BDNF. It's a protein that stimulates cellular growth and repair in the brain and the nervous system, BDNF. Oh, and one more thing, testosterone. So in my own research, which I've been using now BFR for a couple years since my second knee replacement, and especially after my back when I couldn't lift heavy weights, but I needed to work out and I wanted to have similar effects with growth hormone and testosterone and IGF-1 and BDNF, is I started using it extensively last year, and I am using it now already as part of the rehab process, and we'll do that. My friend Dr. Mike DeBoard, he is one of the top researchers when it comes to BFR in the world. Dr. Mike DeBoard, he says this: it's this incredible hormonal and metabolic response that leads to enhanced strength, athletic performance, and definitely faster recovery and rehabilitation times. So I'll do it 15 to 20 minutes, 3 to 4 days a week here in phase 2. I'll be using it in most of my workouts here in phase 2 and 3 coming up as well. Matter of fact, but before this actually goes live, I'm going to put a link in my Instagram where you can get all of the information on the B3 Sciences BFR. I love them. They do great work. I love their system. I'll put it on my Instagram link tree. I'll put it in the show notes as well, so you can do your own research. But if you're someone who's like can no longer lift the kind of weights you want, but you want the same types of effects, I'm telling you, BFR is the next big thing that's coming. It's already here. Not everyone's using it, and everyone knows about it, but it is a definite biohack that doesn't cost a lot of money, that you can get a lot of bang for your buck when it comes to hormonal response. And when it comes to recovery, you want to make sure you're optimizing your hormones and putting yourself in an advantageous position so you can heal your body. And BFR is one of my big ones as well on. I think that's what, biohack number 5, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right? My goodness gracious. Woo! Giving away the goods today, baby. Last couple ones here. Yoga and Pilates. I just want to make sure that I don't underemphasize the importance of flexibility and breath work in all of this, because when I talk about high intensity exercise, and even if you're using BFR to trick yourself into thinking you're doing high intensity exercise so that you get the similar physiological response, let's not forget about yoga and Pilates. I need more yoga. Anyone else need more yoga in their life? It's not only good for the breath work, it's good for the mobility, flexibility of your joints. And then continue to use mindset. All of those hacks I was talking about earlier on with mindset. Let's make sure in phase 2, as you get out of acute pain, that you transition and you continue that same mind hacks as well. The last biohack, this is number 6. Now, this is a biggie. This is a biggie, and not everyone's going to use this, but I am. And I'm going to tell you the story, why and how. Stem cells. Stem cells. This is total biohacking. Now, let me be honest. I shared it in my Get Your Mind Right book, but I've been using stem cells since 2018. 2018, I actually flew to London, England, to get my first infusion of stem cells because I wanted to expedite the healing of my knee replacement. And then I actually went to Bermuda in 2020 in the middle of the pandemic, because at that time you couldn't get these types of stem cells that I was receiving in the US. So like a lot of athletes, they were going to London or they were going outside this country to get stem cells. And I'm telling you this for a reason, because I've been using them and I'm about to get my 3rd infusion of stem cells in the US. Now we can get them in the US, which is great. So how does that work? What happens? The types of stem cells, there's different types of stem cells, and you probably heard about stem cells, and the first thing you think about, oh, they're expensive, and they are. And it depends on the types of stem cells that you receive. But you can get a shot of stem cells, and typically a shot could be anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 for an injection into a specific joint. Or you can get what I do, EVs, extracellular vesicles, that you can get, and that can go anywhere up, depending on the company you use, on up from $25,000 to $50,000 if you go with a certain company or not. Expensive. But then again, is it? I don't know. What is your health worth? Everything. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just telling you what I have done. Now, what are EVs? What are extracellular vesicles? And they're separated. Let me just share in depth and some of the research and all, separated from a patient's stem cells. So I had a surgery. When I say a surgery, a procedure where they extract the stem cells out of your belly fat. And they extract that, they harvest it, and it's your own stem cells versus stem cells from another system, another person. These are my own stem cells. And then when you get that, the EVs are then placed in a normal saline solution to infuse back into the patient. And that delivers a cell-free therapy, which by research shows is many times more effective than a standard stem cell transplant, and it's far safer as well. So whereas one infusion from yourself will give you literally billions with a B of your own EVs, typical stem cell transplants may get you 300,000 EVs at best. So not bad. You get 300,000 versus billions of them. A cell-free therapy stimulates repair mechanisms, promotes healthy tissue regrowth, helps modulate scar tissue from old injuries. Therefore, from the research I've done, that the cell-free therapy is best, and you're going to get a strong anti-inflammatory effect within days, which continues to work for weeks and months as well. I'm getting my next infusion here late August up in Los Angeles, but without going into more depth, if you want that, the company that I use and have been using, wellbeingint.com, wellbeingint.com. A lot of NFL athletes have used it. A lot of NBA athletes have used it. And there's a lot of different types of stem cells that you can use. And whether you choose to go to London, Bermuda, Mexico, or even now available in the United States, do your research. Do your research. And if there's something that you think could help you, depending on your budget, depending on what you want to invest, It could be something you want to use as part of your overall arsenal when it comes to your own healing. Okay, so let's just go into our last phase 3, phase 1, acute, phase 2, which is weeks 2 through 6, and the last phase 3. Let's say this, you're feeling better, you're feeling like $1,000,000 again, and you want to stay that way. You always hear me say, train hard, eat right, and live inspired. Well, let's say you're there. Let's say you're there right now as you listen. Like, I don't want to get there, TD. I don't want the stem cells. I don't want to be doing all that you're doing. Well, it's ramped up right now. I'm not going to be like this all the time, but when it comes to healing, which is the purpose of today's episode and all of that content, which is in the show notes as well. I'll put links and websites and all that good stuff in there for you to do research, but it's going to save you hundreds of hours literally of that. Number one is when it comes to phase 3, let's just make sure you're training hard and doing the right things. Let's make sure you are training hard and doing the right things. And when I say doing the hard things and training hard, I'm not necessarily training hard just saying, you got to do high intensity training all the time. Guys, I can't train like the way I want to all the time or like the way I used to all the time. Training hard also means doing more yoga and Pilates, like I just said, because yoga and Pilates is hard. Can I get an amen, anyone? Like, yoga is hard. Pilates is hard. It's way harder than you think. Breath work and Tai Chi is hard work. Why? Because you typically do what you gravitate toward because you love to do kettlebell swings and bench press and lat pulls and TRX curl. Yeah, I gravitate to that. That's why doing more of the yin work is hard. Do the hard things. That also means number 2, making sure that diet stays cleaned up. Clean it up. Yeah, I know you might be healthy right now, but clean it up. You might not want to have the greens drink twice a day. But guess what? You can do this every day, and whatever greens drink you choose to use, this is a great way to actually continue your own process. So before you get into pain, you can prevent pain. Less carbs, less sugar you want in your diet. So nutrition, less carbs, less sugar, gluten-free. You're like, was he going to mention gluten? Yes. Gluten is inflammatory for most people. So you may want to skew more toward a gluten-free nutrition program. You've been hearing me talk about gut health. Did you hear me a few episodes ago when I was talking to Melanie Rogers on nutrition? Go back and listen to that. Go back. We've got some nutrition episodes coming up, but I've been big on gut health lately, and not just gut health because of healing, but gut health because of overall health. Things that you can use probiotics. And by the way, I said the greens, 25 billion probiotics in the greens drink. Kefir, kombucha, sauerkraut, Greek yogurt. Gut health is important, and reducing alcoholic intake. TD, are you telling me not to drink? Go back to Melanie Rogers' episode again. I am telling you to be careful of the amount of alcohol you consume. I was going to say boys and girls. No, boys and girls, men and women. Reduce your alcoholic intake if you want to really maximize your recovery. And you heard my supplement routine. You've got it all those things you can be doing between a multivitamin, collagen protein, MCT oil, your peptides, if you choose to use peptides, biohack, BP 157, if you choose for the anti-inflammatory, ZMA, greens drink, Carlson's cod liver oil, all those things that you can do. And lastly, live inspired. Well, what does it have to do with healing? I'm talking about healing all aspects because I'm not my knee, I'm not my back, I'm my spirit, I'm my soul. So some things that you can do in the next week for yourself outside of your normal routine. Something I did yesterday, which felt amazingly healing. Put your feet in the sand. Put your feet in the sand. Literally, it is tremendously healing to walk on a beach and get your feet in the sand, like to literally connect with the earth. You're like, but Todd, I live in Iowa. There's no sand. Well, guess what? There's probably a sand volleyball pit at your local playground. You can find it at the lake, or come visit me. Come visit me in San Diego. We'll go for a barefoot walk on the beach and get our feet in the sand. Come out to the shift retreat, and you can come out and get your feet in the sand. Or just take your shoes off and connect with earth because it's so tremendously healing. Do barefoot training when you do your Tai Chi or you do your training. It's healing to be barefoot. Read great books when it comes to living inspirational. And make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people who are not toxic. There's a lot of toxicity out there. And some of the toxicity, not only in the environment, are with people. Please guard against what you bring into your system. You got to get rid of people who are toxic in your life, or you got to really put a shield up of that, right? So those are the 3 phases of today's healing episode. Now let me just end this all with saying here, surgery stinks. I got to admit, no one likes surgery. I don't like surgery, but man, oh man, thank God that we have a medical system that when we need it, the medical system is good, and that we can get healed up and we can do that. So I'm tremendously grateful as I share with you my healing process and all that I am doing. And you're like, man, TD, that's a lot of stuff. It is. It's a full-time job. Phase 1 is a lot of work. But I also want you to be healthy because I know the value of your health. I know the value of your vitality and your energy and your positivity and your optimism and your hope. And when you're in pain, that also robs you many times of the energy and your essence. Let's not forget, you are not your injury. You are not your pain. Let me repeat, you are not your injury. You are not your pain. You are a spirit. You're an essence. You're a soul who has a purpose on that. So what did you learn today? What did you learn? Maybe you heard some new things. Maybe you heard those 6 biohacks between the BP 157, the red light therapy, stem cells, BFR, the game ready machine, whatever it may be. I'm not saying that use any of this or all of it, but maybe you can choose 1, 2, or 3 things to amp up your own health today. When you talk about health, I want you to make sure that today, right now, as you move, you're walking, you're driving, that you take a couple deep breaths right now, literally, and just say, thank you for good health. Thank you for healing. Thank you for vibrance and energy. Thank you, because I know this. I'm so grateful today. When you asked me to share my routine with you, and I said, I got to share all that I'm doing, from stem cells down to greens drinks to inflavonoid intensive care to turmeric to collagen protein to cupping to everything I'm doing. You've got my heart and soul, but the most important thing is that you embrace the healing process. You don't fight it, but you embrace it. And I want to say this, that if you enjoyed today's show, if you found value in it, you can do me a big favor. Number 1, you can use some of it to prevent you from being in any form of pain. And if you are ever in pain or have surgery, come back to this, save this episode. But even more importantly, if you can hop over and help this episode so we can help more people who are in pain, hop over to iTunes, drop a 5-star rating. A 5-star rating in iTunes. It really helps us with our show. Drop a review in there as well. Specifically on this episode right here, drop a review on the Todd Durkin Impact Show podcast overall. And you can talk about this episode and what it meant for you. You could talk about, you've probably listened to other episodes. Well, heck, I want to know if you've listened to all of them. There are a few you mind right maniacs, you fire-breathing dragons who've listened to most every show and you've been binging on them. Fantastic. Thank you. I'll share my ups, I'll share my downs, I'll share my wins, I'll share my losses. But most importantly, not just to share them, so that you get value for your life, for your body, for your mind, and for your soul as well. So I say thank you. Keep taking care of you. Keep taking care of you, whatever that means. Live better, think better, and be better. God bless you. I love you. Have an incredible day.